Remember when Doc's stim pistol didn't heal your teammates and they would scream when they got hit by it? Here are even more things you might not remember about old Siege. There was a cut warm-up mode in Year 1 that of course got added in much later down the line, but you could still find it in the files, and it's somewhat playable on old versions of Siege with mods. Castle used to only have 3 barricades. However, it took 12 hits to knock one of them down. I think the amount of hits changed a few times throughout the years, but now it's 4 barricades that take 9 hits. You used to need to hold down whatever button you used for the heartbeat sensor to keep it out. This led to a lot of tragedies swapping back and forth by accident. The old crouch animation looked different, a bit more realistic, and bodies used to ragdoll a lot more, and of course they would stay there after. The White Mask Gang used to have their own type of shield. This was later changed to Fuse's shield for some unknown reason. I like the old design better since it gave the White Masks a more unique feel, but sadly they are gone entirely. Massive shout out to Varsity Reviews for all these clips as per usual. In T-Hunt, you used to be able to shoot your teammates in the head, and they'd survive it. I believe this only happened on the normal and hard difficulty though. Operators used to interact with each other in T-Hunt.
Once this is all over, it's your shout, mate.
Just don't play hero. It never works.
Let's watch each other's backs out there.
You remind me of my brother.
Don't touch my stuff.
Am I going to need to save all your asses again?
They would also call out when enemies were reloading.
Enemy reloading. They're out! Enemy changing mag!
This isn't that old, but when the AI training first came out, it was really easy to break the AI. As you can see, breaking this wall used to confuse the AI, and it was pretty funny seeing the bot just walk around cluelessly. This is what Thermite's elite animation looked like in Article 5. Cheaters used to be able to shoot Maverick holes with a normal weapon, so you weren't even safe in a locked room. The reinforcements used to be a little bit bigger at launch, except for a few different rooms where they are extra skinny, like on plane. For some reason at the start of the round, the hostage would fall over when spawning in. In old launch trailers, you can see attackers and defenders working together, which never made it into the game. And for some reason, Thermite is breaking out instead of breaking into house. Another thing cheaters could do was run around with Hibana's X-Kairos as a fully automatic weapon. Of course, pairing it with aimbot made them unstoppable. When Macie first came out, he had the Super Shorty. This was also before the 1.5 was a thing, so people didn't just pick Macie for the Ronnie. They would actually use his gadget, believe it or not. Bandit batteries used to destroy other defenders' gadgets, some examples being a C4, Legion's goo mine, Valkyrie cams, and like in this clip, mute jammers. This is definitely something I don't miss. The Macie pizza skin. I know you can get this on the R6 marketplace now, but for a while this was a pretty rare skin. It was a Twitch Prime reward that came with 4 parts to the set, being the headgear, uniform, commando skin, and charm. One of my favorite skins to this day. On Coastline back in the day, vaulting over the sunrise bar could get you stuck like Chuck, and then you'd fall out of the map. So basically, hopping over that bar was not a good idea, especially with bad ping. On Presidential Plain, back when you could throw Valkyrie cameras outside, you used to be able to throw one on the tail of the plane, giving you a crazy point farm. Breach charges used to light up for different surfaces. Green was for barricades, soft walls, and hatches which would be totally destroyed. Yellow was floors or walls with metal railings that would be partially destroyed. Red was for indestructible or reinforced walls. Smoke's canister used to have orange tape wrapped around it, and for some reason they changed it to yellow. Not sure why they did this one, if it had to do with the lore or something along those lines. The wooden barricade on Yacht used to be instantly destroyed with one quick melee hit, whereas now it takes a few hits to break in. The ship also used to be called Boreal, but was changed to Aklark for some unknown reason. For whatever reason, the bar freezer on old Cafe Dostoyevsky didn't have a name next to it on the compass. But this was also an iconic spot to hide with the hostage. Massive shout out to Heretic117 who commented a lot of these things on my YouTube video. Cheaters used to be able to dual wield a shield and AK. I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen any dual wield operators yet. It would be cool to see that. There used to be a hatch in what's called the bar backstore, which I honestly didn't know it was called that dropped down into reading right next to the red hall door. How easy it was to take the kid's bedroom as an attacker, especially if it was reinforced. Windows on 3 sides of the bedroom for attackers to sit. There was almost no chance of retaking it as a defender. On Old Oregon next to the construction spawn, You used to be able to peek through the cracks of time under the wood paneling into either tower or all the way into garage. It was nearly impossible to win a gunfight against anyone using this, defending the garage on Old Canal. For some reason, this didn't count as going outside, so it was a great place to catch attackers off guard, either if they were going up the main stairs or if they were trying to attack kayaks. On Old Theme Park, you used to be able to run out of control room onto the roof to reinforce the hatch, but sometimes this was a mission you wouldn't come back from. Another kind of funny cheat was Sledge going invisible and chasing people around with his big sledgehammer that he hides in his pants. He was trying to pound everyone with that hammer. On Old Skyscraper, there used to be stairs that went to the top of the exterior tower that would give you some really good angles into Exhibition and the main door next to T. You just needed to do a little bit of parkour to get up there. How deadly the deployable shield and Old Tachanka turret were. If you rounded a corner and saw this, you were dead meat, James. The only counter to this was if you could break the shield attached to the turret without being spotted. For whatever reason, the only footprints Jackal could see in T-Hunt were the bombers. Jackal's ability picture at the bottom also changed from his logo to a footprint, because we all know Jackal loves feet. And of course, shout out Varsity Reviews for the clip. On Old Outback, you could have the world's longest angle all the way into Party from Yellow Stairs. You can do something similar on current Outback, but it's not as good as this one was. This isn't really Old Siege, but kind of a random fact. Bank doesn't have a bathroom anywhere, and it's always been like that. On Old Cafe, it was really easy to run out on the people that spawned in the park, since they were all bunched up in one spot with no cover. How easy it was to break out the wall on Bottom White Stairs, or the actual name Storage, which I've honestly never called it that. But you didn't even need a shoddy or impact to open this wall. Even a pistol got the job done. Every operator that has an elite skin has a unique camo for all the weapons in their inventory, but since Sledge lost his SMG-11, the camo called Ferrum was taken away from all SMG-11s. Gotta shout out Varsity Reviews for the clip. In one of the Siege launch trailers with Idris Ilba, there was a kitten that was named Clancy the Tomcat, an obvious reference to Tom Clancy. On the old Hereford situation, you could actually shimmy under the railing that was blocked off. There was no point in doing this since you'd be stuck like Chuck once you were down there unless you wanted to explore. And shout out to T3 Musketeers JTL from my Discord for the clip. In one of the in-game screenshots before Siege launched, you could see Bandit holding an MP5. There was a pretty rare glitch that I've only seen like once or twice where impacts could bounce off of something, usually glass, and could sometimes lead to tragedies. The invisible wall glitch. If you knocked out a majority of the wall, then shot the rest out with a pistol, the wall would go invisible instead of collapsing. As you can see, you can't run through or hit it, but shooting the wall next to it would fix it. Another glitch with the deployable shield, of course, but this one was on plane. Once you maneuvered your way into the floor, it would drop you all the way to the bottom of the plane. You could go from the front to the back of the plane while seeing the entire bottom floor and all of outside. A Valkyrie cam glitch on Old Oregon. If you shot out this corner and threw the cam into the cracks of time, you'd be able to see some of Small Tower as well as the hallway and dining. Gotta mention the iconic Moist Critical Miss input clip. This was an all-time classic.
Stop fucking shooting me! What the fuck is wrong with you? Chill!
There was a misinput! Calm down! You calm the fuck down!
Oh,
there was a misinput!
Oh my fucking god.
This was my TikTok from when I made it to 100 episodes of Old Siege, so these next few clips are some of my favorite moments. Being able to throw Valkyrie cameras outside. It was kind of broken, but that's what made it fun, especially hopping out on unsuspecting enemies. Tachanka's old LMG. It was fun to set up behind a shield and try and lock down an area, and to hear this quote was the best.
LMG! Mounted and loaded!
5-man recruit shield. It's a damn shame that it didn't return with the new recruit. Pulling up on the defenders with 5 shields was so much fun. Not only was recruit shield fun, but recruit rush. I miss this too, especially in ranked. Throwing grenades back. I'm really not sure why they ever took this one out. It was very hard to do, but super satisfying if pulled off. Can't forget about night maps. I'd really love to see these return, but there's no way these ever make their way back into ranked. But maybe casual. The unique title screens for each season were so cool. Ubisoft was originally going to censor all versions of Siege for China, and this is what Cav was going to look like. I can see why she wears that face paint. There was a glitch where if you were really quick with extending and retracting Monty's shield, you could shoot with his pistol out while you were extending his shield, since the ADS time with shields were much faster. I've covered one of the yacht glitches before, but this one was a little bit different from the other one. Similar concept though, you'd run into the snow and be under the snow pile. The only way the enemy could get you was by following you in there, but you could pop up and shoot anyone waiting there. I know this is still a thing, but the peak from Red Hatch on Old Cafe that let you see into Christmas was much wider, so you could see a little bit more. But shout out Poppy Slops for sending me the yacht, Monty, and cafe clips. On Old Consulate, you used to be able to climb on top of the vending machine in Visa office. Pretty good spot for defenders, although I think this was patched before Vigil came out. Another little spot on Old Consulate was climbing on the shelf in Tellers, although this wasn't as good as the vending machine one. There was a glitch in Doctor's Curse where you could spawn in as recruit. He had his full loadout and everything, so he was able to shoot the attackers running in. On Old Consulate, you used to be able to get into the van. Of course it was using the old deployable shield too, but once you were in, you were nearly invincible, and you could shoot out of it in any direction. And getting out was super easy, just vault out the back. On Chalet, you used to be able to throw a Valkyrie camera in the rock outside of the garage. Once it was in here, it couldn't be spotted, and I don't think it could be destroyed either, but I'm not 100% sure. On Clubhouse in the tunnel, you used to be able to clip through the wall, which would let you see anyone creeping like the creep man in the tunnel. You could also see outside of the kitchen a little bit if you maneuvered a different way. On Old Consulate, using the deployable shield once again, you could climb on top of the vending machines in the second floor hallway. It wasn't the best spot though, you were pretty exposed. Another hop-up spot on Old Consulate, with, you guessed it, the deployable shield. This one was the break room on top of the fridge, which was a great spot for secure area, since admin office was a prime site. I might have covered this before, but it's worth showing off again, where you could play as multiple of the same operators. Seeing more than one blitz is terrifying. On certain walls, you could stack mirror windows on top of each other. This was pretty overpowered, since the only counter to this was a Twitch drone popping out the other window. The old glitch where you could phase through the wall, this one was insane. You would place a breach charge down, repel, then you'd get off repel and pick up the breach charge at the same time. Once you did that, your weapon would disappear. You'd then rappel up on a separate wall and open the window enough to be able to swing in. Once you would swing in, you spammed the detonate button and it would launch you up to another floor, right through a wall. You used to be able to get on top of the truck in the garage on Bank. This wasn't really that useful since you would end up in the ceiling and couldn't see any of the garage, but you could see parts of open area and the white stairs. Another kind of useless glitch on Bank was getting in the wall out on the roof. If you rappelled down while holding the hostage, you'd end up in the wall. There was a glitch where you could put two mirrors on opposite sides of a barricade, and of course, using the most broken item in Siege history, the deployable shield, you could block the doorway completely. The pre-release MPX was supposed to be stronger, but got toned down for release. It also sounded different. Take a listen. Also, Valkyrie was supposed to release with 5 cameras instead of 4, which would have been very overpowered. Pre-release Oryx had an ACOG scope on his MP5, and obviously this was before the Oryx and Malusi loadout swap was an idea. But shout out to Lungu from my Discord for the Valk and Oryx stuff. This was the very first loading screen for the beta of Siege. You might recognize the music since it's the original Siege theme I always use in the background. But shout out to Slime Master 5208 from my Discord for this beta clip. You used to be able to duplicate Tachanka's turrets. I'm pretty sure there was no limit to how many you could put down, but it was pretty cool to see like 10 turrets all mounted and loaded. On Old Chalet, you used to be able to climb into the tree at the campfire spawn. You just had to maneuver your way up, and then you had a great angle into master bedroom. You could also drop down safely once you were done. On Old House, using a deployable shield and a friend, you could phase into the wall. You'd be stuck like Chuck, but anyone who spawned on the garage side were dead meat James as soon as they walked up to the house. On Old Oregon, you used to be able to climb into the RV that was outside. You needed a deployable shield, so it was insanely risky and not worth it to do as a defender, especially since the attackers could leave you in there and go to the objective. On Old Clubhouse, you used to be able to climb onto the roof as a defender. You just needed to vault the side of the roof at the right angle, Then you could climb up top and reinforce both hatches, which were pretty important to keep closed. On Old Border, you could break these computers, then put a claymore on the desk so the laser would be sticking out and would smoke anyone walking by. The claymore was also really hard to destroy since it was behind concrete. There was a glitch where you could place a thermite charge anywhere on the map, but you would glitch out and glide around the map, which was pretty funny looking. On Yacht, you used to be able to vault through the slot machines and wall using the old deployable shield. Since Valkyrie used to have a deployable shield, you could have a hidden camera in the hallway and pop out on unsuspecting enemies. The sideways screen glitch. If you rappelled upside down, through a drone, then got off rappel and started turning your drone at the same time, you'd be stuck leaning sideways. There was really no point in doing this one except for fun, but the way you got out of it was by rappelling again. On certain maps that had walls connected to the inside and outside of the map, if you opened up part of the wall and then reinforced it, you could actually stay outside as a defender without being detected, since you were tucked away in the cracks of time. On Bank, you used to be able to get your drone in the basement ceiling. You just needed to do some parkour around the gold bars in the vault and then hop in the ceiling, where you could see a lot of the basement while your drone was hidden. The T-Hunt bombers used to be absolute tanks. It took 3 melee hits just to take one of them down, which was probably not possible to pull off without a glitch. There was a weird animation that was only in T-Hunt, I believe, where the guy would put his shield on his back, and if you meleeed it, you would get this animation where the shield would swing out, just like they would when they are in the front. Not sure if this is still in the game or not, but Goya would or still does call out Amaru when she is scanned.
Amaru, first floor. Amaru spotted. Amaru located. Tagging Amaru, first floor. Amaru in sight, first floor.
Operators used to call out actual room names in T-Hunt. This is just a cool detail. Operators call out things quietly if they have a suppressor on.
Loading mag.
Operators used to call out if there was a frag grenade close by in T-Hunt. This is an old mod where you could fuse Ella, Tachanka, and Thermite together. This was pretty funny, and I wonder what other combos are out there. Shout out to Cyrilix from my Discord for that first clip. But in Rainbow is Magic, the map was actually set in the kid's bedroom on Old House, and all the cars on the map as well as the plane were toys. Some more things about Rainbow is Magic where the walls and barricades had their own special coloring for this mode, as well as the wall having a cool animation where a plane flies around on it. You could also hit the flowers on the wall and they'd lose all their petals and cry. So sad. There was also a hidden teddy bear in this present if you meleeed it open, as well as the what I think is supposed to be Kraken from the kid's bedroom in this present. Another random thing in Rainbow is Magic is if you smoke the bear, in the replay the bear would have really glitched out arms. In T-Hunt, the white masks could actually run out of ammo. They would just end up standing around and make call-outs because that's all they could do. There was an old glitch. When you went to reinforce the wall, your operator would just pass out. This was absolutely hilarious, and I have no idea what would happen after this. Shout out to Cyrilix from my Discord for that reinforcement clip. But back when Smoke had SMG-11 ACOG, he was able to throw his smoke canister while aimed down sights. Not sure how he was throwing it with both hands on his weapon. Could have been his third leg. You used to be able to detect enemies just by looking at them, whether it was on a drone or staring down the barrel of someone's weapon. You didn't need to scan them. For whatever reason, Smoke would break his wrist when picking up his nitro cell, back when he had one, or smoke canister. I tried doing this myself and can't even turn my wrist that far without moving my arm. Hitting other players with gadgets used to do 5 damage like Mazie's pests or Nomad's air jabs. But another big shout out to Varsity Reviews for all the clips besides the first and last one you're about to see. Back on Old Favela, if you could even get here, you could throw a Valkyrie cam through this window, making it impossible to destroy. Ubisoft was originally going to let defenders do the attackers' jobs and vice versa. This can be done currently with mods on old builds of Siege. In this clip you can see Ash and Mute on the same team. They even interact with each other, which is pretty cool.
We're doing a bit more scrumping here.
I've got your back.
It was also planned for defenders to be able to be picked on Article 5, although this one is pretty buggy since the operators are invisible. But you can see Smoke planting the diffuser. Here's another clip with an attacker and defender working together. This time it's Capcan and Dokkaby.
Is this going to be long?
You do your job, I'll do mine.
In this clip you can see Twitch reinforcing and barricading doors, as well as interacting with Mute.
Secure the area.
Let's watch each other's backs out there.
You always say that.
Big shout out to Varsity Reviews for all the T-Hunt clips. There used to be a glitch where you could fly your drone. No clue what caused this, but it was pretty cool. And shout out to Cyrillix for this clip.
Hey everyone, I just want to thank you if you made it all the way to the end of this video, and I wanted to give an update on what's on the agenda. The iceberg video is in the works. I was hoping to get it up sooner, but there's a lot of research that needs to be done, so hopefully I'll get it out soon. But I might take a break from making TikTok so I can really lock in on making the iceberg. But I'm really happy with how it's turning out so far, and I can't wait for you guys to see the finished video. Alright, that's about all I have to say, so I'll let Bateman close it out.
Let's see what else Paul Allen remembers about Old Siege.